Hey everybody, it's so great to see you all. I am super excited, super excited because tomorrow I am going to pick up our brand new adopted foster dog from Greece. If you know me, then you'll know that I'm absolutely obsessed with animals, obviously like as a vegan, but also in terms of just like rescuing animals. I have a house full of rescue animals, not here with me because this is my rented house, but at my home, my family home, I have so many animals there. I've got 3 cats and 2 dogs, and we are going to be on our way to pick up our brand new foster dog, and I'm going to take you with me every step of the way. I'm also going to be telling you why I have such a huge passion for rescuing animals from Greece in particular, and some of the issues that they face there, and also how you can help. So we've always had dogs as a family, and I've been lucky enough to always grow up surrounded by dogs and cats and various rescue animals that we've picked up along the way. We've never gone out of our way to get an animal, they seem to just find us. The reason that I'm so passionate about rescue animals in particular is because they are special. They have something within their soul that I truly believe that some other animals don't have, and it's not that all animals aren't amazing, I love all animals, but rescue animals, they have a depth to their soul that they kind of know that you've rescued them, and I know that sounds crazy, but that is how it seems to me. They just have this depth to them, and they have this unconditional love and appreciation for you as a result, and you end up forming this really beautiful bond with these animals because they just have this other layer to them altogether. And that's how I feel about them. I'm sure there's many other people out there who have rescue animals that would feel the same, but they just have this depth to them that I can't explain, and I don't want to explain, I just know that it's there. So if you are considering getting an animal, please do consider rescuing an animal rather than purchasing one, because there's all kinds of things wrong with that, of which I don't have time to go into, but I'm sure you can Google it and find out the atrocities that go on when you just buy a random animal online. So in terms of rescuing, we accidentally stumbled across an organisation that works in Greece, and this organisation we found after my mum was basically Googling the most desperate dogs in need of urgent care. The reason why we went for this organisation and we learned so much about the terrible conditions that animals face in some parts of Greece, and this is the same across a lot of different European countries. Obviously the situation is, you know, completely different here in the UK. Yes, there are animals that are in need, but it's not on the same scale, it's not on the same level of urgency, it just isn't. We as a culture here love animals, and it is the exception to the rule if someone was to abuse a dog in particular. Obviously farm animal abuse goes on all the time, and that's socially acceptable, but that's a whole different topic. But for the UK, people generally take good care of their companion animals. In Greece, it's a different story. In Greece, dogs and cats are seen as vermin, they're seen as pests. They are poisoned, they are fed razor blades, they're tied to the back of cars, they're tortured and tormented, they're driven up into the mountains to die, and they've got a bit of a kind of crazy thing out there, which means that a lot of the people are against putting animals to sleep. So instead they will take the dogs up to the mountains for them to just kind of die or freeze to death or starve, and it's kind of messed up. And this is not a bash against Greece and Greek people. We work with incredible people who are from Greece that have rescued the animals that I have in my home today. So this is not a thing across the culture. It's just something that they tend to struggle with at this moment in time. And I don't know the complexities of the issues that go into it. I don't live in Greece. I don't live in this country. All I know is that people are facing some incredible difficult times in a lot of parts of Greece. And of course that is reflected in the animals as well, because when people don't have enough food to eat, it's no surprise then that the animals and their companion animals don't have enough food to eat, and they are obviously first to go out the door in these difficult situations. I'm not going to attempt to understand that. What I'm here to tell you is that a lot of the animals in Greece need our help. So if you are able to find a place in your heart for an animal in Greece, you can look at an organisation called Greek Animal Rescue. There's also a lot of other organisations as well that are out there. I work with a particular individual who doesn't have a charity. She's just an incredible one-woman band who goes out there and spends all her money rescuing these animals and spends her time dedicated to these animals and rescuing as many as she possibly can. And I wouldn't have my Lucas if it wasn't for Alexia, the person that we work with in Greece. So of course you can always contact me and let me know if you're thinking of adopting a dog, because I'd love to hear from you and we'd love to help you in finding your companion. So back to the events of tomorrow, what's going on tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to be driving down to pick up our new rescue animal called Lenny. Lenny had a horrendous start in life, as a lot of the animals in Greece do that are abandoned on the streets. They don't have the safety nets that we are lucky enough to have in the UK. They don't have these massive charities like the RSPCA, Dogs Trust. They don't exist, and it's hard to imagine a world where that doesn't exist, but that certainly is the case for them. That means that when they find themselves on the streets, it's very likely that they will die there unless they are picked up by kind individuals like Alexia that we work with in Greece, and obviously some of the incredible smaller charities that are based out there, but they urgently need your help and support because they are not at the scale that they are here in the UK. As a result, for Lenny, he was abandoned on the streets and he looked like this when we first heard his story and when Alexia messaged us and said like she'd found this dog. And Lenny was suffering from leishmaniasis, which is a very common condition out in Greece. It's transmitted by sandflies. It cannot be transported from dog to dog. So people who say, oh, you're bringing these dogs in from Greece and they've got leash and they're going to pass it to our native UK dogs, that's bollocks. Like, that's not a thing. So it can't be passed, has to be transmitted through sandflies. And actually our dog Layla has leash and she lives a very full and complete and healthy life. It is completely treatable with some very, very simple and cheap medication, but that is often not accessible in Greece, and of course the dog can't get the medication if it is abandoned on the street. As a result, this was massively affecting Lenny and it was causing these lesions and this horrendous condition in his skin. It also led to the fact that his immune system was then being suppressed and he was much more likely to catch all of these other horrendous things that happen as a result of living rough on the streets. So he was just in a horrendous way. We were praying that he was going to survive, and even though we weren't in a position to take on another dog, we have a house full of animals, we just knew that we couldn't let this poor boy die if there was something that we could do about it. So Lenny has now made a full recovery and he is over on his way to the UK as we speak, and we're going to be picking him up tomorrow from the amazing people who transport these animals from Greece and they bring them over to their new families in the UK. And then it was time to collect Lenny, and so we had to drive all the way down to a service station down south because the transport people pick them up and bring them across by road, and so we intercepted them along with all the other families who were collecting their new companion from a service station which was just south of London somewhere. I can't even remember what it was called. So this is us travelling along and yeah, going to collect Lenny. When we got to him, he was so chill. Like, he was literally just sat in his cage just like, hello. Like, he was just so calm and so lovely. He was just like super excited to get out, and he was just like stretching and waiting to come and meet us, and we were all just like super excited. It was great just to meet him in person, and it was really weird. Like, I can't describe it to you if you've not been through this process before, because you kind of see pictures of Lenny and you see videos of what he looks like, but seeing him in person is really odd because it was kind of like, wow, like he's bigger than we thought he was gonna be. Or yeah, just like seeing this dog that, because we've been following his journey since like January, so to see him in person and to physically be with him, like, it's such a special moment, because it's like, wow, I can't believe this is actually happening. From those photos in the beginning through to actually collecting him, like, it's just wild how that's happened. And so it was just so lovely to see that and meet him finally. We'd been waiting so long.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh,
He's so calm.
Oh, this day is like, we've been sending out.
Really cool.
The lawn in a few hours.
We don't need to climb. He's big. He's big. He's tall.
He's big. She's so bloody good.
He's got the soft face. Lenny! Come on, Lenny! Come on, Lenny! Lenny
We've been sending out the vibes.
so long. We've been waiting
like
to
a
meet
bear.
There we
So Lenny, Lenny, come on, darling. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. New home. the best part, isn't it? Yeah, the best part. You know what? You just think.
So the first thing that we did was take him for a little walk, basically. So they choose these services because they have like this grassy area just near where they get off the van that they travelled on. So we just took him for like a little walk and just kind of got the feel for each other and got him used to us, because obviously it's super disorientating for them. He's literally just come off a bus all the way from Greece. They can't see where they're going, they don't know where they're going. It's super confusing. They're super tired, you know, they've been car sick, they've not had a lot of food, so he's just really just sleepy. And our other two dogs were exactly the same when they came off the bus. They're always really different characters to what they end up being, because they're just such a subdued and confused version of themselves. But Lenny was actually like pretty sprightly, and he was going around, and as you can see here, was just like going around and sniffing and having a great time and just getting used to us. So yeah, that was the first thing we did, was just take him out for like a little wander on the grass, let him stretch his legs a bit, and then it was time to do the onward travel back to where we live. As expected, Lenny spent the first few, I guess, like minutes, I was going to say, but it was actually more like an hour and a half, just kind of panicking a bit, like in the back of our car. Obviously, he was just like, where am I going? What's happening? And yeah, he was just like all over the place. And then I think eventually he was just so exhausted and realised he was safe that he just completely conked out, and he was just like sleeping like this. His head was dropping and he just completely zonked out in the back of the car, and yeah, had a lovely sleep as my mom was like playing some like spiritual music in the background, which was his first introduction to our family. You're waking him up. Oh, that's bright. We made it home and he's settling in.
It's CAT. I thought to get one of Will, that's all.
He's a good Lenny. Look how big he looks next to you, Will. Yes, his kiss that lens. Good boy. Good boy. So bringing him into the house, obviously we were really careful with how we introduced him to the other dogs. So we actually took the other two on a walk, and then Lenny joined, and then they all came back to the house together. And you'll see that they all still kept their leads on, so we could keep control as they just got used to each other and found their feet around each other. And then he had his first introduction to our cats, which we were kind of nervous about, but it went really well. He was just like, okay, there's a cat, and he was really chilled out about it. So that was a huge relief. So yeah, he had a very busy first day, carrying on his travels, meeting the other dogs, meeting the cats. So we wanted him to just take it easy and find his feet and get used to everything. So yeah, so we had a great afternoon just like chilling out and getting used to everyone. And then they all kind of zonked out. So I think they were all very tired from the excitement. So they all just went to sleep for a bit and had a nice little nap. On the next day, they were getting a bit more confident with each other. So for the first night, he actually slept separately to the animals, just because obviously we didn't want anything to happen while we weren't looking. So he slept separately to the dogs. And then the next day, he was even more chilled, even more comfortable, and just, again, just slowly finding his feet. And he was starting to play with Lucas in particular. They had like a little play back and forth, and they're like bros, being like the boy dogs. And it was weird because I think that was the thing that we were most worried about, with Lucas obviously being male as well. We thought that might be a bit tricky, but actually those two just seemed to bond instantly, and yeah, they just formed this lovely friendship really, really quickly. Lenny! Lenny's here! Here we are, having a hot rest on the cold tiles. He is settled in beautifully, and he's been running around today with my other two doggies. Lenny boo! And he's a very hot boy because of this beautiful coat. He's doing so well. He's such a smiley boy. Yes, he's such a smiley boy. Yes, and we've already found his magical tickle spot, which is his lovely leg here. Makes his leg stretch. So this is his little magic tickle spot. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. And he likes to eat flies, which is what he's got his eye on now. Good boy. That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed meeting Lenny, our new dog, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing him go from where he started to the happiness that he's now got in his life. I've put loads of information below about Greek Animal Rescue and other, you know, information about Greece, but obviously do reach out to me if you have any questions, as I am also here to help as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.